Hello? Welcome to the entrance to my mind. Let's go inside and see what we find. That's a lot of artwork. Welcome back to another devlog. This one's number 2 in a 12-part series. Well, I'm hoping that it'll only be 12 parts because I want to do one per month for 12 months. Hopefully by the end of those 12 months, the game will be done. Anyway, during this second month of development, I made a lot of artwork. We've got a lot to cover in this video, so let's dive in. We'll take another look at the opening clip, but I'll slow it down a little bit. So first there's a cabin interior, which turned out to be much better than I anticipated. Since I haven't done a lot of single point perspective work in Illustrator, there definitely was a learning curve, but I think the cabin interior turned out pretty well. Next we've got the women. The woman on the left was super difficult for me to create. She was the first one that I made, and for some reason when I was trying to make the lower half of her body, her legs, it just looked like she was intentionally sticking her butt out, which was not what I wanted. But after a lot of refining, I finally made her look normal. Now on to the men. So one thing about the men in this scene is that the guy on the right in blue was originally going to be the main character. He was going to be in the center of this scene. But as I was creating the guy in red, for some reason I felt compelled to put a band-aid in the back of his neck, just like Marcellus Wallace in Pulp Fiction. And after that, I realized this guy has to be the main character of the game. He will be the character that you play as. So in the game, you're part of this cult that is waiting for Armageddon at the top of a mountain. You follow an enigmatic leader named Philip, and I'll show you him next. So the reference photo that I used was Clint Eastwood, but as you can see, what I drew looks nothing like Clint Eastwood, but that's alright. Clint was just a starting point, and I actually like the way that Philip ended up looking. He's got piercing eyes, but there's also a softness to him. Whew! That was a lot of artwork, and that's probably only about half of what I made during that second month. Now it's time to switch gears and get into some juicy, nerdy stuff. The first bug that we're going to look at is art related. You see those tents at the bottom of the screen? I made those tents so that at certain times in the game, you're able to actually go inside of them. Obviously, running into a tent during a gunfight is probably not what you want to do. So on the to-do list is to make a door that closes when you're in combat. That way this won't happen again. Another art-related bug showed up when I made the bus for this game. And that leads us to our bug of the log. Bug of the log. So getting the bus door to open and close and getting it to drive wasn't that difficult, but one thing that I wanted to do was quite a challenge. Obviously, when you run into enemies, I want the bus to be able to kill them. But as it was, the enemies were able to push the bus around and stop it in its tracks. So, during a live stream, I spent the good portion of an hour trying different things out and making a lot of mistakes. For some reason, I wasn't able to access the polygon collider that I had on the bus itself, so I tried a different approach. On the bus, I attached an empty game object, put it to the front, and put on a box collider. This I called the front bumper. I wrote some code for the front bumper to detect collisions, and this is what I came up with. It's super simple. There's one variable, the enemy script, and when there's a collision, we check if we collide with an enemy. If so, our enemy script variable grabs a reference to the script of the enemy with which we collided. It uses that information to turn that enemy's HP to 0, and that triggers the enemy's death. So let's see. Oh! Yes! Oh man! Yes! Pow! Yes! Oh dang! It works! Bug of the log. As you can tell by the video, I was so happy when I was finally able to run those enemies over with the bus. It took so much work and so much trial and error, so much brain power, but when it worked, I was elated. I love when you get those little victories. It just makes you want to keep going. And with that, I think it's time to wrap up this month's devlog. Be sure to tune in next time when I show you the progress I made on the inventory system, the UI, items that you can pick up, a whole bunch of stuff that I'm super excited about. Again, in the comments below, feel free to leave any questions, suggestions, introspections, whatever. I hope you have a great day or night, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.